All right, so I've hinted at this a couple of times on Twitter already, but I'm currently working on a small closed source library called Obs.js. It observes the Navigator and Battery APIs, and it will expose that sort of status information to JavaScript so you can use it deep inside of your application. But it'll also just throw a bunch of classes on your HTML element for you. So you can set Obs.js up to listen for changes to these APIs. So that's good for SPAs or long-lived pages. You can wait and listen for someone's battery going into low power mode, etc. Because I've got a multiple page app or just a website as it should be called. I don't need to listen out for these changes. I can afford to do this just on every page load. So if I just refresh, I get all these classes put on here, and we've got two types of class. The first one is status, and that's fairly factual and it's fairly binary. So we've got statuses, then we have stances, and a stance is where you take a combination of these statuses and make decisions, fairly opinionated decisions. So let's take a look. Right now, I've got low latency. I've got high bandwidth. My battery is charging. Because I've got low latency and high bandwidth, my connection capability is considered strong. My conservation preference is neutral, so I haven't entered low power mode and I haven't entered data saver mode. And as a result, it's safe to send me rich media. So let's have a look at the battery thing first of all. So I'm currently on my laptop. I've got 100% battery, but it is plugged in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug my battery. I'm going to refresh this page. And what we should see now is the has battery charging has completely disappeared. So I'm not charging anymore. So what can I do with that information? Well, let's just plug this back in. And what I'm going to do is change the has battery charging to has battery critical. This class gets added if a person's battery goes under 5%. And actually, before I add that, I'll show you. So my nav slides out, this little 200 millisecond animation, nice and easy. Um, if someone's got really low battery, we might want to really conserve sort of CPU cycles, GPU cycles. We might want to turn off animations. If the person's got less than 5% battery, I'm going to turn the animation off. And sure enough, it just opens and closes. That's a really simple micro optimization, but one more compelling use case is probably for data saver mode or bad connections. So my current setup is that I've got delivery mode rich. What I'm going to do is just force data saver mode on. So now what's happened is I've still got low latency and high bandwidth. So my network conditions haven't changed at all. I'm still on a really strong connection. But because I've chosen to have a data saver mode on, I've got conservation preference is conserve. I want to conserve data, regardless of the fact that I've got a strong connection capability. And therefore, you should serve me light data. So don't send me rich media. So what's happened here then is if I inspect my masthead, what I've actually said is if the person has a delivery mode of light, then just give them the low quality placeholder image. Don't give them the full rich experience. The full rich experience would be a 65 kilobyte image laid on top of that 7 kilobyte image. But because they've got data saver mode on, they've opted into saving data. I'm going to help them out via this class on the HTML. I could just say, right, well, you don't want rich media, or you want sort of you want to conserve your bandwidth. Take this low quality image instead. Now, you could argue I should invert this paradigm. So I should give the light version to everyone, and then anyone who doesn't have this class should get the richer experience. To an extent, I do agree. The only problem is none of these APIs are available in Safari. So what that means is if you're in Safari, you basically have to give everyone the worst quality versions of everything, and they won't get the progressive enhancement. So my current stance, and it's personal, it's not baked into the library. It's all about how I've written my CSS. My current stance is that I would work backwards. So if someone has got data saver mode on, we then show them the stripped back version. If that API isn't available or they have made no sort of preference known to me, then what I will do is I'll just show them the richer experience. But this is currently closed source. I'm working with a client to see if we can implement it on their site. But when it is live, I'm hoping to share it, get it fully sort of released, fully open source. But these are the kind of things I'm thinking about at the moment, this nice way of responding to user context and delivering adapted experiences. Let me know what you think.